What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back with the F1 22 My Team experience. This time for the Austrian Grand Prix. It is Season 3, Episode number 40. Let's get into it. We've got a sprint race weekend to get through, so I think this is going to be a lengthy video, but should be a good one. We get extra racing, and, you know, it's an extra chance to get some points in this season of career mode, which we desperately need. We're also quickly approaching the midway point of this season. As you can see, Mark Webber has only got 56 days remaining on his current contract. So, at best, we're looking at another 3 or 4 races. So, with that in mind, I want to give my teammate the best chance possible to succeed. And we're going to invest in the facilities. We're going to invest in the simulator to make his pace just that little bit better, to make him stronger. And, yeah, just have him as a better supporting role. He hasn't had as much luck recently as what I'd like to see. Silverstone felt like an absolute stone in that race, which was a little bit disappointing. But, guys, if you're excited for this series, the frequency of uploads lately, please leave a like, subscribe, and, yeah, make sure you tune in for what seems like the daily videos at the moment. I'm in a real groove at the moment. I'm really enjoying the content now that I'm not traveling. I'm much more in the groove with things, and overall, I'm just loving life. However, I want to bring some more variety to the channel. I want to do some online stuff. I want to do some challenges. I'll even do some different games as well. So stay tuned for that. I might even start uploading to my second channel now. We've got a little backlog of videos ready to go. So stay tuned. Link in the description. Anyway, back to the career modes, and you can see there's a very incremental increase in performance from last race to this one. Doubt it's really going to do anything. No one really upgrading heading into this race. I think it's a very short turnaround from Silverstone to this race, so the form guide really should be the same. Let's go to quali. Alright, here we are for qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix. Very easy to get caught out if you are not really paying attention with these sprint race weekends, because we have practice 1, and then instead of going to practice 2, we go straight into qualifying. So, as we found in the past, it's very, very easy to get caught out with an old engine. Thankfully, because of how little rounds we've done so far heading into Austria, we actually don't have that many worn components. So, we're actually still good to go on, I think, the first column of units. So that's nice to see. We're going to up the aero. I've been running like a baseline setup. I think it's like a Saudi setup that Jan Otmir used in time trial or something. I've been liking it a lot recently, so I've basically just been taking it to the same track and just adjusting the wing levels, really. Playing around with tyre pressures, whatnot. I think we've upped it to, whatever you saw on screen, I think it was 25.19 or something. I have a feeling it might be a little bit too low, but you never quite know. You've got to play around with these things. This is somewhat of a power circuit, high altitude, a lot of straights, a lot of DRS straights, so you want to be well poised for overtaking, acceleration and top speeds. So yeah, it's a fine balance to strike around here, as well with high aero to maximize these high-speed corners in the middle sector. So far, I'll be honest, it doesn't seem like we've struck that balance. We're currently down in P13 at the moment. We are improving by 2.5 tenths as we approach the final corner. This is still our banker run on the soft compound tyres, over the DRS, up to the line. It puts us P12, but there was only 14 people who set a time at that point. Now everyone else has done a lap, and we're down in P20. What's even more alarming is Mark Webber is down with us as well, down in P15, P16. So, for whatever reason, there's not much pace in this car. We're going out again on a used set of soft compound tyres, just to see if we can get our eye in a little bit better. But on our second lap on this run, we run wide, we get some floor damage, and it's going to take up the rest of the session to clear up. So, effectively, we are out of qualifying for this Austrian Grand Prix. Just like that, we're gone. We did a second lap. And we ran wide at turn 1 and got the floor damage, and that was it. So we never really got a chance to showcase our true pace around here, albeit the pace was a bit slow. We only had 2 sets of softs. We got caught out with the tire compounds. No, we didn't get caught out with the tire compounds here. I just wanted to save a set, but yeah, the damage has prevented us from doing an extra run. We probably would have been able to find another 2 or 3 tenths maybe, which might have just snuck us into Q2. I'm not too sure, but certainly not ideal. Starting from P20 for this Austrian Grand Prix is a bit of a disaster. So this is the first time we've been faced with this problem this season. I think we should probably take an engine penalty. Even with the 16 race calendar, I think we do need to take 1 or 2 engines. So I suppose it makes sense to take it now. We have the sprint race to make up, of course, to get some extra points. So it's not all doom and gloom. Qualifying isn't exactly everything. This is a very easy track to overtake with 3 DRS zones. We're quick in a straight line. I think the area that we were slow was the cornering. So we should be able to overtake. So Ulu engine components, let's go for the sprint race.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend.
And it's at this point that I'm kind of regretting not taking newer engine components earlier. I kind of like to have the series be realistic. You're probably wondering why I didn't go for the brand new column of engine components. It's because we haven't used column 2 yet. I kind of like to run it how it works in F1 Manager. You can't go from using 1 engine to 4 in a weekend, so we're going for realism. Although we are taking new engine components, we're not taking an extra column yet. So that will need to be done at a later date. But the plus side is we're only starting 2 places back, and we have a brand new engine for this weekend. So here we go, starting from the moon, P22 in a sprint race. Can we get points in only 12 laps? We're going aggressive. We're going full send. We've lowered the fuel load as a test for the main race. It's going to be very tricky to get in the points, even with how strong our car is. So we're testing the waters with the fuel. Sometimes there's incidents with the AI around here, so it could be a safety car. We dive to the inside, go in between Tictum and Albon. Oh, words! That was close with Latifi moving over to the left-hand side, but we got through unscathed, and we move up 5 places in only the first 3 corners of this race, which is absolutely beautiful. Coming to the end of the first lap now, Tsunoda is in the crosshairs. Fernando Alonso leading the way quite convincingly over the 2 Red Bulls, Leclerc and Verstappen. What a driver pairing that is at Red Bull. They should be unstoppable, but for some reason they don't have the dominance that you'd think they do. Up the inside of not 1, but 2 cars into turn 3. Russell and Tsunoda are put in the mud, and that is P15 for the taking. A nice little squeeze there on Russell, who now has a car issue. Looks like he's got a front left puncture, as you can see there on screen. Lando has got some front wing damage as he pulls into the pit lane, and might have given someone else some damage in the process. It's slowed up everyone, including Hamilton, who's now under pressure as we head down this start finish straight for the 3rd time. Briefly 3 wide between myself, Schumacher and Piastri. We go slow in, punch it on the exit. We fly past Piastri. Do I hear Schumacher as well? Yes, we do, as we give Piastri a little bit of a wave, and potentially a dive bomb on Hamilton heading into turn 3. Not quite. I didn't fancy losing the entirety of my front wing on lap 3, if I'm honest. We're so close to the points anyway. We only need 8th to get a singular point in this one, and I think we've got the pace to do so, especially with all those DRS zones and the pace in the car that we seem to be carrying at this stage. So we'll keep marching on. Safety car has been deployed. I think there's a Mercedes in the pit lane. I'm trying to look on the mini-map to see if anyone's crashed. There's an Alfa Romeo going slowly in the middle sector. Yeah, not really sure what's going on there. Maybe we'll get a replay. It is... Wow, Schwartzman lost his wing. So, something that happens around this place is because of the line you have to take into the pit lane, if you take the inside line and hug it, the apex speed is very slow, and someone behind can take the full racing line at racing speed and sometimes clattering to the back of people. That is sometimes a thing that happens, so I think that's probably what's gone on there, to be honest. Anyway, look at the totem pole on the left. Pierre Gasly is out of the race. And he's only just retired under safety car while the computer has control. So I think he's had some kind of technical issue there, which has caused him to pull over. So yeah, the safety car was brought out for nothing. I think it was literally just debris on the racing line in those last 2 corners or something. Because with simulation damage, you can get punctures. I have seen it in the past, previous games. It's definitely a threat you've got to take seriously. So yeah, safety car deployed. We've got 5 laps remaining in this one to make up 1 place. 1 place is all we need to get a point and salvage something out of what has been a disastrous Friday in qualifying. Away we go for green flag running. Hamilton going slightly defensive into turn 1. The AI love to use a lot of battery on this first lap, as we're finding out.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
No damage to the car. I'm not sure why I was checking that. But I guess I was a little bit paranoid. Up the inside of Hamilton we go into turn 3. Nearly ran into the back of Ocon, who was getting checked up by Webber and the other Alpine, I believe. But that allows Hamilton to get a nice exit out of turn 3. Side by side, I'm trying to squeeze him to see if I can, I guess, threaten him into backing out. He goes around the outside at turn 4 and eventually backs out of it. He knows firsthand what happens when you go around the outside through there. But now we've got Ocon and Webber ahead. Webber is going defense. Oh, he's going into the pit lane, and he's taken off the wing of the Alpine. And that is exactly what I was saying. That's textbook of what happens at that second last corner. Webber going in very slowly. He's got some front wing damage, and Ocon not really paying attention and just turned over on his line too much and is retired from the Grand Prix. Which is really odd because he actually still had his wheels attached. He just decided to retire. I guess with a 3-lap race, unlikely chance of a safety car, you may as well retire if you've lost your wing at this point. We can see, oh, someone else has gone in this race. That's George Russell. Is that George Russell? It is George Russell. As if his day couldn't get any worse. He had a puncture early on in this race, and now, yeah, he real and truly is out of this race. With 2 laps remaining, we're in P6. There's another local yellow up here. 3 cars are in the gravel. That's Verstappen, Sainz, and I think Magnussen all caught up there at turn 4. It's absolute carnage in this sprint race here in Austria. It's Verstappen who's just spun up the rear tyres, and there's been just a domino effect. It's a bit of a blind corner, which nearly caught me out, to be fair. I had to take massive avoiding action to the gravel because I was pretty much committed to that corner, my line. I had to turn out of the corner and risk getting stuck in the gravel just to move up to now what is the podium. What is this race? Sergio Perez is out of the Grand Prix. I think we've got many casualties in this one. No safety car because we're just too close to the end now. We can't end on the safety car. It's just not a thing. Webber, who was last in this race after his pit stop, is now with the top 10 runners and might actually get a... Okay, he's not going to get a point. He's into the pit lane again. So Webber's had 2 unscheduled stops in this race, and now, for sure, should be last. He is last, because Alonso has just won the Grand Prix, the sprint. Leclerc gets P2, and we go from last to 3rd.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you've pulled through. Thank you very much.
What a recovery, what carnage, and what luck. But there we go, that has been the sprint. 12 laps of absolute carnage, and if that's, you know, the warm-up to what we're going to get in tomorrow's Grand Prix, then sign me up for more of that. I don't know with the ruling whether we are starting at the back for the main race or whether we're going to be starting from 3rd. If we're starting from 3rd, my word, look out, because we might potentially be on a charge to go for a podium or even a race win. I did notice the pace. I did push really hard on that last lap. The AI were about 4/10 faster than me. That was Alonso and Leclerc. But with DRS and Slipstream, I think we'll be able to run with them. So it'll be crucial if we can start from 3rd in the Grand Prix tomorrow. But here's the list of all the incidents. It's over the first page, which is absolutely nuts. if this is the dress rehearsal for the main Grand Prix, then sign me up for more, please. Let's go. I'm hyped.
So, unfortunately, we've picked up some grid penalties and we'll be starting further back than you expect. As for how bad it is, that'll depend on what the other drivers get.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship except the very first back in 1964. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Fernando Alonso yesterday puts him on pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen.
Okay, we have our answer then. We are starting from the back for the Austrian Grand Prix. I felt like we already took our grid penalty though. I thought we qualified P20 and we started 21 or 22. Yet here we are again at the back. So we've essentially been punished twice. Maybe not the wisest choice for a grid penalty, new engine. But what's done is done. I mean, we got P3, which I think is as good or as good as we could have got even if we started from the front anyway. And now we have 36 laps, triple the distance, to get through the field. And, you know, with all the shenanigans that went on yesterday, I think it's only going to amplify with more points on offer, with strategies, varying pace levels. I think it could be pretty crazy. So we'll go full send. I think I saw some weather for the back end of the race as well. Let's just double check. Yeah, it is going to rain in the dying laps of this race. So we can rework the strategy to our favor. We can either start on hards, which I don't really advise doing, and going to the end, or we could go mediums and then box early for softs. I say early, around lap 20. Get us to about lap 30. It'll start raining in the final few laps. We'll get a cheeky fastest lap on the new softs. Cruise home to an easy win. Simple. Though I think it's going to be far from that. So, yeah, we'll play it by ear. There's undoubtedly going to be a few safety cars based on yesterday. So, I think we can be pretty flexible with the strategy. Hell, if there's even an early safety car or one of the midway point of the race, we can box again for new mediums or hards to get us through to that wet weather period, which I don't imagine the AI might do. So, options are open.
The formation lap gets underway and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure that their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out.
Interesting tyre strategies from the field. Norris on soft. That's quite aggressive. That's quite ballsy from a front-running car. They're almost certainly going to do a one-stop in this race to the rain. Maybe even a two-stop. But, yeah, no one interestingly going for the hards. I would have penciled someone to go for a bold risk like that. Someone at the back, maybe. But mediums for the majority. So we'll see what we can do. We have 36 laps of Austria to traverse. Let's hope we can survive. Away we go for the Austrian Grand Prix. And once again, at the back of the grid for the start of this race. We learnt our lesson. We're going to go slow in, fast out of the corner. Russell blocking us off at turn 1, which he's perfectly entitled to do. We had to take to the AstroTurf, and now we are last. Not the wisest choice to go down there at turn 1, but turn 3, however, looks like there's been a bit of a coming together. It's an absolute car park down here. Yellow flags. Safety car has been deployed. Someone's out. Albon's out. I was just trying to figure out what actually went on down there, because it didn't seem that bad from the pictures. It didn't look like anyone lost a wing or anything, but someone has. Unfortunately, it's Albon. Safety car is already out, and we've only raced for about 3 corners this time. So this strategy, this safety car, definitely helps us. If we really want to risk it, I don't think we need to. We could stretch the mediums until the rain. If the safety car period comes out for long enough, or if there's multiple safety cars, I don't know. We'll see how we go. But we've made up a solid amount of places. I don't exactly want to give up those 8 places that I've already made up already. So I think I'm going to hold on to what we've got for now. Save fuel, save tyres. We actually also underfueled massively for the start of this race. in anticipation for the rain and the safety cars.
Safety car in this lap, safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember, there's no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
But I'm already wishing I took more fuel out because we're 0.7 over already. I should have taken like 5 laps of fuel out or something because the amount of fuel we saved under the cutscene was nuts. Anyway, away we go for green flag running once again. We're going to cruise up to racing speed once again, maybe go for a cheeky dive bomb into turn 3. Magnussen is next on our hit list. Latifi on the edge of the points at this stage. So the field is very scattered after that sprint race. There's a lot of back marker guys up the order who we should have no troubles overtaking in this race. Already overtaking Magnussen, who's actually quite quick. That Alpine is a dark horse in this season of career mode. Don't be surprised if they win a couple of races this season, that's for sure. Latifi next, side by side for Sainz and Stroll. Terrible exit for the Ferrari. And we're going to get... Oh, my word, there's another safety car. We squeeze our way into the tightest gap between the Ferrari and the Williams. Someone is out in this race, and I think it's a Haas, which has just disappeared off the minimap, and that is Mick Schumacher. So Haas having absolutely no luck this race weekend, particularly at that corner. Again, someone's gone slowly into the pit lane, and they've just run straight into the back of them. And shock horror, Mark Webber is into the pit lane again. Literally...
No rain expected for the time being. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Literally, I think someone could just look at Mark Webber and his front wing would come off. It's pretty ridiculous. Anyway, lap 6, and I'm going to take my own advice. I'm going to box now under safety car. Yes, we are going to throw away a few positions here, but I think this is a prime opportunity to get onto the hard compound tyres and get to the end of this race. Norris started on softs. Arguably not a great choice from him, but it means he can just get off these tyres and go to the hards and get to the end of the race from here. So we don't have to stop again until we get to the rain, but I think the leaders are going to have absolutely no rubber left by the time the rain arrives, or they're going to stop under green flag running. So either way you look at it, I think Norris and myself, possibly Mark Webber, are the effective leaders of this race. Though I probably have to discount Webber, he's on softs. Same for Schwartzman. So myself and Norris, even though we're at the back,
Green flag.
This is for P1. Would you believe? 20 laps. I reckon about 20 laps until we see some rain. And it doesn't take long around here with the short lap times. So we're looking at about 15-20 minutes away. And the clouds are starting to come in a little bit over the mountains. As you can see, we go up the inside of Norris. This is for the lead. I want to stress that. That's for the lead of the race. And we're in P17. Schwartzman. Oh, Schwartzman's in on the soft compound tyres. Perez trying to go on the inside of Ocon. Gets another terrible run. And that's going to be P14. It will be P14 now. That is terrible straight line speed from us. Even though I feel like we didn't put enough wing on this car this weekend. We were slow in the high speed, but it looks like we're slow on the straights too. The AI are absolutely nuts in a straight line with their ERS. Round the outside we go on Sergio Perez. He defended very hard to the inside, blocked by Latifi on exit, and Perez is going to run away with an extra position in this race. How does that work? Latifi going very defensive into turn 4. I didn't want to go around the outside here because it doesn't work. It's the way the corner undulates away. If you're on the outside line, you've got no grip. Now here comes Webber up the inside of Norris. Norris might take the lead back here. My teammate's up the inside, which, I've given him a lot of space, but maybe not so much there as we go around the outside at the second part of that left-hander. And it is P14 for us. The straight line speed deficit is very evident right now, isn't it? As we take our first warning of the race. It's when the AI use the battery, they're just insane. I can't do anything to defend against that. But just checking the vehicle condition, checking on the weather as well. It's still about 15 minutes away, according to Mark. So we've just got to bide our time for now. The race leaders are getting away. That McLaren and that Red Bull are absolutely flying. I think it's Leclerc and Alonso. Yeah, incredible pace being displayed by those guys. We're just managing to overtake back markers. on better tyres than us. We go round the outside, and good timing because we just got that position off of Latifi. The safety car is out once again, and this is a free pit stop for the likes of Alonso, for the likes of Leclerc, and they are going to the hard compound tyres. So this latest safety car has actually shafted us quite a bit, because I feel like the AI are only a lap or two away from boxing on their mediums, and we would have had the lead of the Grand Prix by quite some way. But now with the safety car, the reduced pit stop time, Alonso has rejoined right behind us. And now it legitimately is a fight for the lead. For myself, Alonso, Leclerc, Norris, Hamilton, Verstappen, all in the midfield. Piastri now leads this race in the Williams. And I don't think he knows what to do in this scenario. But here he is. What tyre? I think he's on mediums. Has to be on mediums. He couldn't have stopped in this race. There's no way he's got to the front of that field with a pit stop. The safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. And only people on old tyres are ahead of us. So we're well poised to do something in this race. Look at when Ocon uses battery, how much they pull away. It's absolutely nuts. We just have to wait a lap or two for them to expel their battery, and then we can strike, especially with some DRS as well. So for the time being, keep Alonso at bay, and we'll be okay. We've got to get through the traffic better than Alonso does, and we've got to build a margin to him, because that's our margin we're working with for this race win before we get to the rain period. I don't have the pace in the dry, or at least I don't think so. As Magnussen, Gasly, and Ocon all pull into the pit lane, I think Magnussen didn't have any front wing there. I might be wrong, but it didn't look like there was a great amount of downforce on that thing. But either way, my teammate is into the pit lane once again, unsurprisingly. We have Norris, who is retiring from the race. I have no idea why he's retiring. Your guess is as good as mine. Halfway stage of this race now, and we're P3. Alonso is all over us. He might get DRS here. Does he? No, DRS isn't even enabled yet, and Alonso is all over us heading into turn 4. Round the outside he goes. The AI know better than to fight through there. I probably would have given him more space if he kept his foot in, to be honest. He would have had the inside for the left-hander. But backed out of it, decided to live for another day. He is fighting me after all, so yeah, it would be cool to see the AI kind of hold it in there in those sorts of positions. It would be sick to see as we get spun by Alonso. Alonso gets his revenge from getting squeezed out by me on the previous lap, and now we made contact at the apex of turn 3. Here's the replay. There's nothing really in that. There's nothing in that, and it's spun the car. There's now a car park. One of the Mercedes is running to the back of the McLaren, as is one of the Alfa Romeos, and now another safety car.
Right, drop your speed. Our delta's too low, and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Does this race want to calm down?
So we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
I'm running out of words to describe this race, this whole race weekend. How many safety cars is this now? 3? This must be at least our 3rd safety car of this race, plus the safety car from yesterday as well. The amount of overtakes we've done. We've gone from the back to the front yesterday. We went from the back to the top 10 and then boxed, went to the back, and now we're at the front again and leading this race. 10 minutes till rain. Safety car is in this lap. It's myself versus Leclerc versus Alonso. Thankfully for those guys, they don't have any front wing damage. We left the release until as late as we could possibly go. I didn't want to slipstream Leclerc down into turn 1. He has a little go into turn 1, actually. It doesn't pull it off. We nearly had a carbon copy of myself and Alonso from a couple of laps ago. But warming up the tyres, I don't feel great at this stage. I think the AI have a definite advantage at safety car restarts. As we can see, getting squeezed by Leclerc onto the curb. That is my classic trademark, because it gives the opponent absolutely no traction, and it's worked perfectly for Leclerc. He goes defensive, heading into turn 4. Can we get the switch back? No, Leclerc has brake checked us, and Alonso goes up the inside in turn 4, and we're down to P3 in this race. Verstappen needs to get past Stroll. Once he does, he'll be all over the back of me. But yeah, getting absolutely shafted by these guys, these front runners. Leclerc and Alonso are not messing about in this race. They want to get rid of me as quickly as possible. I'm a good like 2-3 tenths, maybe even more slower than these guys at this stage of the race with their fresher hard compound tyres. Although Alonso is making me look good here by making all those micro mistakes. We have another yellow flag through the last corner. Guan Yu Zhou is out of the race, and at this point I've just run out of enthusiasm to really bring that home. Really, it's almost like a retirement a lap. How do we still have 15 cars in this race? Oh, Alonso's made a mistake at turn 3. Opens the door. We get the switchback. He might get the DRS. Does he get the DRS? Who gets the DRS? No one gets the DRS. Thank you, FIA. And Alonso, with that OP battery, with that straight line speed advantage, just sails on through for P2. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, Leclerc is getting away. I don't know if Alonso is being paid off by Leclerc here. DRS is now enabled. So we'll see what we can do.
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain.
Okay, 5 minutes till rain. So we don't have to hold on for too much longer to get to the rain period. I want to stay in the DRS, in the slipstream of Alonso. I want to get dragged along in this race, dragged away from the likes of Verstappen and my teammate Mark Webber. The amount of pit stops Webber has had this weekend, and he's only 4 seconds behind me, just seems like the greatest injustice in Formula 1 right now. But 12 laps to go, another yellow, and it's a safety car. George Russell is out now, and Gunther is absolutely raging. He's doubly going to be raging now. This golden boy, Kevin Magnussen, is out of the Grand Prix too. Early pack up for Haas, and off they go on the plane before this race even ends. What is happening? 10 laps remaining in this race, and because of all the safety cars, I'm having to burn fuel. I'm literally holding the brake and going flat out the whole way around the circuit under safety car, just trying to keep the weight down. If not for that, we'd be like 5-6 laps over on fuel. It really has been that dramatic. I could have taken 10, maybe 12 laps of fuel out of this car. I'm not even joking, and got to the end. Now the rain has arrived, and we are going to box this lap.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
For intermediate tyres, and I think Mark Priestley has agreed with me as well. Into the pit lane we go. Are the AI going to react? Okay, Leclerc is shaping his way into the pit lane. Alonso is staying out. Or is he? He's staying out. So here we go, safety car restart, and the majority of the field are going to be into the pit lane, and it's going to be absolute carnage heading into this pit lane. So many double stacks. You don't want to be doing an extra lap in these conditions, but Alonso and Mark Webber are doing just that, doing something different. Maybe they're going to go straight to wets. You might as well, with the heavy rain looming in these dying laps. Into the pit lane we go, onto intermediate tyres. We have a cleaner run at this end of the pit lane because there's less teams and less people to slow us up. However, we don't jump the Red Bull. We come out just behind Leclerc, and this is now, this right here, is the fight for the win. The fight for the win is right here, and I hope, I really pray, we've got better pace in the rain. I think we increased our front wing at some point in this race in the hopes of getting a little bit more purchase in these wet conditions, so let's see if we can make it work for us. The car is a little bit slippery at this stage. The aero balance is very much centered towards oversteer. In an ideal world, we'd have another 5 clicks of rear wing if I could whack it on there, but we're just going to have to deal with what we've got at the moment. It's going to be a bit of an oversteery pig at the moment through the high speed, and Leclerc is, I think, suffering even worse than I am for balance issues. That Red Bull is very much on the nose. So at this stage, at least in the transition phase, we're actually quite quick. I think arguably quicker than Leclerc. He keeps making these micro mistakes. So out we go for Alonso onto the track. And that extra lap on the dry compound tyres has really hurt him, and it's doubled down as well with the fact that Ocon has rejoined in front of him, and I don't imagine Ocon is going to let him go very easily given their past, as we see another mistake for Leclerc. It's literally every corner. Every corner he is oversteering with these little snaps that can't be doing the rear tyre pressures, temperatures, any good when he's doing that every single corner. His straight line speed was amazing in the dry, and now they can't even hook up a single corner. It's in the mud. Through turn 1, another oversteer. Yes, another oversteer moment. We're going to go straight on the overtake, straight on the attack, and see if we can get Leclerc into turn 3. He's not really defending this. He's still not. Oh, now he defends. We double down into turn 3. We go super deep on the curb, and somehow we've taken the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix with 5 laps remaining. Pierre Gasly is now out, so that might even be another safety car. I think we just need to call it a day and wave the red flag, especially now. Could you imagine if there's a safety car and that's all the racing we get? What a move as well, by the way. Leclerc moved to the inside. I think it was like Bottas, China, 2018 against Daniel Ricciardo, but we moved even further to the right-hand side. It meant we ran in a bit deep, but I was surprised that Leclerc didn't maybe anticipate that and brake a little bit earlier and got the switch back, because he could have easily retaken the lead there. He just kind of, I don't know, made himself get stuck. So we have the lead with 5 laps remaining. There actually isn't a safety car, by the way. I don't know why I was expecting there to be one, just because every time we've had a local yellow, it always eventually emerges to be a full-on safety car. But we are trying to run away from Leclerc. The gap is 1.8 seconds.
Okay, I know these conditions look pretty terrible, but that water is draining okay. I think the intermediate is going to stay the tyre of choice for a while yet.
Well, hopefully that's the case. I don't want to box late on for wets. And I think at this point, even if it is heavy rain, I'm staying on these tyres. I'm just going to live with the pain, because the difference from inter to wet isn't that great. You know, I don't think you're going to make up a pit stop's worth of time if you box at this stage. So, yeah, we're going to stick it out there in these conditions. It seems like we just have the pace. Either that or Leclerc is just really struggling. Probably a combination of the two, because he's now starting to fall into the clutches of Carlos Sainz, and for some reason Sainz can't really overtake him. But we are on the last lap of this Austrian Grand Prix, and it must be said that this has been the ultimate comeback of the season. Started last in both races. I think collectively, I have made about 50 overtakes in this race. There's probably been just as many crashes, just as many safety cars, just as many crazy moments, which we haven't even caught on camera this weekend. There's been too much to look at. But look no further, because we have another race win in this season of career mode. Marduk Motorsport is back.
Now we can fight. Absolutely awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
What a race. Hopefully Mark has got some big points too, although it wouldn't surprise me to see him in last. GG.
Smiling faces on the pit wall then after that superb win here in Spielberg, and rightly so. A brilliant effort from the whole team. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
Look at me, I'm driving a brum brum car on the podium. No one's done that before. Anyway, here we are on the podium, and it's suddenly dry again. So that's some wizardry. I'm actually really keen to see where Mark has ended up in all this. That race was just so hectic. There was so many things going on, keeping track of the weather, keeping track of the safety cars, the strategy, battling the race leaders who were so much quicker in the dry. But in the wet, that was the perfect race. I think we took the right amount of chances. Webber gets P7 and 6 points, which is solid considering the amount of carnage that happened this race weekend. He could have easily gone out first lap with the amount of people that crashed. So I think his experience was invaluable. Just staying out of trouble. And it's the same strategy for me, to be honest. But yeah, we were not the quickest car by far this race weekend, especially in the dry. We just took our chances at the right time. We boxed early for hards. I think we minimized the damage. We were able to cling on to the race leaders, stay in their slipstream and DRS. That was Alonso. Then the rain came. And to be fair, with the amount of safety cars, it brought the leaders back towards me every time. We got to the rain period, and I was just about close enough to stay with Leclerc. Alonso carried on for an extra lap. Alonso was so quick this weekend. So he rejoined way behind me, and then in the wet, I just had better pace, better car balance than Leclerc. Leclerc was so much faster in the dry, but that was a dry setup car, and just had nothing in the wet. So equally as lucky as what we were smart in that race. I'm struggling to find the superlatives for that one. That was a really well-managed weekend for the lack of pace that we had. P20, or maybe even worse in qualifying on natural pace. Yes, we were a bit unlucky, but we fought our way back, and we had all the luck in the sprint race and in the main Grand Prix. Over 50 overtakes, 50 safety cars. The title for this video is going to be absolutely amazing. So thank you, Codemasters, for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. And if we have a race that is better or has more carnage than this on this game, I'll be very impressed. Career mode is lit right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.